Well, good afternoon. Welcome to Missouri State University's virtual town hall meeting here on the West Plains campus. We're delighted that 82 of you have decided to join us today. We're also delighted to have President Smart be able to join us today and visit our campus earlier today, and he's visiting with us today on the virtual town hall meeting. So I would like to ask at this time, President Smart, bring us some comments from the Springfield campus.
Thank you, Dr. Lawler. I think I'd highlight three things for you. Probably most importantly, a week and a half ago on June 1st, Governor Parson did a second withholding in FY20. And it was the rest of our appropriations payment for June, which totaled right at $4.3 million. And so a little less than $4 million was withheld from the Springfield campus, and a little more than $300,000 was withheld from the West Plains campus. We anticipated that this would occur given the revenue shortfalls the state was experiencing. But it's challenging nevertheless, because we've now lost, as a system, almost $12 million in state appropriations for this year. Shirley's going to give a budget update later in the meeting, but just know that both campuses are working together to manage this reduction in funding, which we anticipate will continue next year as well. Second thing is, both campuses are working on reopening and recovery plans. Again, Dr. Lawler will highlight some of your activities this afternoon. I got a preview of that this morning at our core executive team meeting, and I can tell you good work is going on at your campus. There are hard decisions we're both going to have to make, for example, in terms of testing policies. When will masks be required to be worn are two of the biggest. And we're working together and sharing ideas and planning together. And so not ready to announce the resolution of that, but know that those are top priorities for both campuses, and we're working to get an answer well in advance of classes starting in the fall. And then finally, probably the biggest news on the Springfield campus this week is yesterday we announced that the Student African American Brotherhood is moving its headquarters to Springfield and Missouri State University. That is a national organization of 250 chapters that works with primarily, but not exclusively, men of color who are in college, to pair them with mentors and to help them have successful college careers and then get off to a good start in their professional career. They've been very successful across the country, and we think this is a big deal that they've chosen to relocate to Southwest Missouri and Missouri State University. We think this will be good for our students. We think this will be good for recruiting. We think this will be good for our state, as they will work to expand and establish chapters in the community colleges and universities all across the state. So in the middle of lots of bad news, that was a really good event that we were able to host yesterday. It's covered in depth in the news leader today and was on KY3 last night. So I hope you got an opportunity to see that. And we continue to work on ways to make all of our students feel included and to have good college experiences, particularly given what has happened in our country over the last several weeks and the racial climate in Springfield and on our campus. We know there's more work to be done this fall and this summer, but I think this partnership with SOB is a really good start in the right direction. So with that, I will turn it back over to Dr. Lawler for updates on your campus.
All right. Thank you, President Smart. We want to bring you basically three updates. We want to talk about the reopening of the campus and the budget cuts that the president has referenced, and then looking forward to our new academic year of 2021. So first of all, as we look to our first slide, I just want to briefly remind you of how we have brought the campus back to life, and we are in our fourth week now of having individuals back on campus. Back on May the 18th, our administrative council members and their assistants returned to campus. On the 19th, we started sending out messages letting you know about the return to campus policies, and we kept you updated. On the 20th, we had our last town hall meeting and did these updates. And then on the 22nd, our Dean of Academic Affairs, Dennis Lancaster, sent out an email to all the students letting them know what the fall semester would look like. And I'm going to call on him in a minute for some updates in that area. Then moving forward, on May the 28th, we sent you out a list, a checklist to check off as you return to campus. We wanted to keep everyone incredibly safe. On June 1, we opened offices for the most part. We reopened with social distancing. We put all those guidelines into place. We are rotating in and out of offices in areas where there are larger groups of employees in one building. We are keeping our offices at home, and we have stressed that to all of our faculty and staff that they need to keep our offices at home, and so that they can return, perhaps rotate in and out of their areas, or if we were to need to return back to our homes if a second wave were to come through of the coronavirus. We have found that we can all be very, very efficient and working from home. So again, I can't thank you enough for all the hard work that went into bringing our spring semester to a successful close. Our students finished, and we had a good finish to the spring semester. But we wanted to get back to the offices so that we could start our enrollment for our summer classes and our fall classes. Summer classes started this Monday, and as of today, on June 10th, our enrollment is down 5%. Now, we typically have a small summer enrollment that equates to about 22 students less than we had this time last year. However, we are encouraged that our new student enrollment is up 17%. So we have our staff back working to not only get students enrolled in our summer courses, but also to start working on fall enrollment. And what will our fall courses look like when we open back up on August the 17th? We have Dennis Lancaster and his team have been working to try and accommodate some instructional strategies that will be different from what we've used in the past. So at this time, I'd like to call on Dr. Lancaster to bring us some news about what we can expect for the 2020-21 academic year. So Dr. Lancaster?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. Thanks, Shirley. So as you know, this summer we're totally online, and needfully so. We did come out of the spring fairly well. We have a lot of students with incomplete grades, which are certainly a concern, but I know faculty have been very flexible and very patient. But we need to bring those to completion. Looking ahead, though, for fall, with consultation with faculty and then department chairs, then associate deans, we've decided that we're going to do a variety of things. There's two goals for us, and one is to maximize our distance between students and between students, faculty, and staff, all of us, during the continuing pandemic. The second one is to minimize time that students will have to be on campus, or at least would have to be in places where it may be a little more risky. And so for those reasons, we're looking at several things. Many of our larger courses, we're going to move into Melton 112, and some of them we are going to split apart. And that what I've called this flipped hybrid model of things, where if we have a Monday, Wednesday class, then half the students will come on Monday, half will come on Wednesday. The other, on that other day, that opposing day, then they'll be doing online activities, doing interactive video of some kind with you or with each other, or whatever it might be, whatever the instructor decides to do. But it would be a little different, but we're really halving that course enrollment as much as possible within that class. There'll be some other things we'll be doing. Labs, everybody will have masks and gloves. Those will be provided. And as President Smart indicated, we're still discussing masking and other safety precautions and how that's going to roll out in the fall. Come spring, which may be the bigger change, though, we've decided that we're going to go to 2 8-week blocks in delivery of courses, or most of our courses. It may not be all of them. We're doing that for two reasons. One is that if the pandemic has reared its head during the winter, then and we may not be on campus for classes in that first part of the spring semester, then a shorter 8-week block of classes with students having only 2 to 3 classes would more likely to ensure their success than having them in and out of class and over a 16-week with more classes to focus on. Then if the pandemic happened to be like it was here in the spring and it was in the later part of the semester, then we would start out and seated, would get to those classes over and done and completed. And then if we had to, we could go to all online in the latter part of the semester. The other is really just to try out this model. Evidence shows that this kind of class scheduling can help students focus on fewer classes, and they would have a better success. But it is going to be a change for faculty. We realize that, and so we want to support our faculty as much as possible. We're talking about some training in that area and some discussions along those areas. But that's what we're looking at for the next academic year.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Lancaster. We reviewed what Dr. Lancaster just presented, along with Dr. Toddy's plans for reopening on the student services side with housing and dining and athletics this morning with the COVID core team in Springfield. And that, folks, that is a time when it is great to be part of a system. The Springfield campus has countless experts working on many, many issues, and we have mirrored many of their policies. Brenda Paulyard has been our scribe for that document, and it is now 32 pages long, and we feel like we have a good plan so that we will protect our staff, our faculty, our students, and our community, and be incredibly safe as we start our fall year. And now as we work in this summer semester online, we'll continue to work on plans for the reopening of fall. Now to talk to you about budget. Again, a little bit of this is review, but just reminding you, we are still in FY20 for another 20 days. And so FY20 budget, we in 2019 were fortunate enough to be plussed up by our legislators. Our portion of that addition to MSU's core was $651,508. We allocated some of that in needed line items in our budget, but we were able to take over $342,000 and it's just left it sitting there unallocated. And it's good that we did. Between April and June of 2020, withholds from the FY20 fiscal year were announced, the current year we are in, totaling over $827,000. So MSU West Plains quickly devised a plan to cover those withholds. When the first withhold came in April, the governor announced the withhold was over $510,000. We used that unallocated amount of $342,000. We had considerable salary savings because we have frozen positions. We have individuals who have retired, and we've done some reorganization, and we have been able to save some dollars. There were some designated accounts that had some large amounts in them that we were able to take some funds from, and so we covered that $510,000 hole. Then on to June. The governor announced an additional $317,191 in a withhold that would not come to our campus. In order to fill that, we reached into reserves. We are still able to keep our reserves at $3 million. Then moving on to the current year, that the new year ahead of us that will begin July 1, FY21. The Board of Governors approved an increase of $2 for our in-state Missouri residents. Students will see a $4 increase because we waived off $2 from this past year, so we will see a $4 increase on per credit hour tuition. That also will bring in additional revenue, of course, from online courses, nursing, dual credit, and dual enrollment rates. For planning purposes, we are using a reduction of $666,000 in state appropriations for FY21. However, we know that more than likely there will be more withholds and cuts to the FY21 budget in the next few weeks. Looking at how it stands today, with that reduction of $666,017, we have a shortfall of between revenue and expenses of $405,000. We are planning to offset that by, number one, salary savings from frozen positions, and as I've said, some reorganization, spending restrictions. We hope we'll have increased enrollment, and naturally, we may have to use some university reserves. The increase in enrollment is imperative. We will work hard to increase our fall enrollment. July 1, we'll start our STAR sessions. We have had no STAR sessions, no student orientation sessions to this date, but July 1, we'll start to bring students into campus, and we certainly expect to see a spike in our enrollment. We know that many parents are considering keeping their students, their children close to home because of the health crisis that this country has experienced and the pandemic. We're certainly hoping that people will look to MSU West Plains if they have children in this region that we're about to start off and go a state or two away. Perhaps they'll stay right here, use their A+ funds. And so we're still very hopeful that our enrollment will increase for the fall, and we have the team to pull it together. They have come through in the past and they will again. All right, and now on a personal note, I would like to inform you of a personal decision. As many of you are aware, I have had some health issues this past year. Since 2013, I have had some occasional episodes of atrial fibrillation, but unfortunately, these episodes have been more intense this past year. Last spring, for some reason, in March of 2019, I had an episode. I underwent heart shocks. In the summer, last summer of 19, I had an ablation. I've been on many new types of medication, but still it's been a struggle to keep my energy levels up. So after much consideration and discussion with family, I have decided that it would be best if I finished my career in education at the close of this current academic year. This has been a very difficult decision, but in light of my health issues, I think it would be best if I prepared to exit this position. President Smart has been incredibly understanding and encouraging over this past year. I so appreciate his patience with me. He has assured me that I should stay in this position as long as I felt my health would allow, but for the past few months, I have felt that the best decision is to step down from this role and concentrate on my health. This has probably been the most difficult decision I've ever had to make. This was not my plan when I came to this campus just a little over 2 years ago. But I feel like for the sake of my health, it is the best decision for me at this time. I would not even consider this path if I did not feel that a smooth transition could be made as this campus moves forward. I have tremendous confidence in the great team that comes to work each day on this campus and gives 110%. A very dedicated and committed group of employees that love this university. It has been a tremendous honor to have served as the Chancellor of the Missouri State University West Plains campus. As a non-traditional student walking onto the campus for the first time in 1977, I never dreamed that I would have such a wonderful opportunity during my career as an educator. It's been an absolute pleasure working for the West Plains campus community. I truly could not have been able, I would not have been able to carry out my duties if it had not been for the assistance that I've received from each and every one of you, and from the dedicated professionals on both campuses, West Plains and Springfield, as well as the strong community support from the residents of West Plains and the entire surrounding area. Although I'm saddened that by the thought of leaving MSU West Plains, I will still be one of the campus's strongest supporters. I have made friends on this campus and in this community that I hope to keep for the rest of my life. Again, I appreciate the opportunity I've had to work with each and every one of you. It's been an amazing experience. And with that, I would turn it over to President Smart for any closing comments.
All right, thank you, Shirley, and thank you for the really good work that you have led on this campus the last 2 years. I think everyone on this call would agree you were the right person at the right time, and have done tremendously well to build on the accomplishments of those that went before you. And I know personally I will miss our interactions, and but I'm confident we will continue to stay in touch over the next several years. As Shirley said earlier, I was on campus this morning, met with her twice, met with without her, met with Dr. Lancaster for over an hour, and then met with the leadership team. And I have appointed Dennis to be interim chancellor. He will begin those duties on July 1st. And I am extremely confident in his ability to lead the team, to be the university leader, and to move the university forward during a very difficult and challenging time period. Dennis is made for this opportunity, and I assured him that I personally and the system would be available to provide help and guidance as we move forward in the fall. Dennis has appointed Dr. Michael Orff to be interim dean of academic affairs, and he will again take that position on July 1st. As I told Dennis this morning, the chancellor's job is a tough job. You can't be Chancellor and Dean of Academic Affairs together. Dennis smiled and said he knew that and was confident that Michael was ready to take on this new role and run with it. And so very pleased with that leadership team moving the campus forward beginning on July 1st. And so then we think about what's the long-term plan. Both of these are interim titles, and both positions are of such a magnitude that they would require, our guidelines would require that we move forward with national searches to fill them. However, we're in the middle of a pandemic, the likes of which we haven't seen since the Spanish flu of 1918. And so in my judgment, and I met with Carol Sylvie yesterday and visited with her, she's supportive of this plan as well. We will not begin immediate searches for either position. We are going to get through the pandemic first. Frankly, did not think it would be productive, neither did Carol, to begin a search in the middle of a pandemic. We need to be focusing on having a successful semester and year. So we'll be working with our Board of Governors to figure out the timing of those searches. But in the meantime, as I said, I am confident of our leadership team. I met with the entire leadership team this morning in West Plains. We have a very experienced, solid, capable group leading the university. And Dennis and Michael, working with that team, I'm confident will continue to move forward and handle the challenges that we're up against and come out of this better and stronger at some point. I know it doesn't seem like that today. Doesn't always seem like that with me either, but we'll get through this, and there'll be winners and losers. And I am confident that Missouri State West Plains will be a winner because the team we have, the faculty and staff that work on this campus, our students that are committed to it, we will get through this and we will come out of it better and stronger. I think we're set up in a format that I can't answer questions today, but I would encourage anyone that wants to visit with me about the leadership changes and strategies for the campus. Please feel free to send me an email. It's Clifton Smart, CLIFTONSMART @MissouriState.edu. I promise you I will read and respond to any message I receive. And I will be on the campus more frequently, even in the middle of the pandemic, to make sure things are operating smoothly. And so again, you'll have opportunities to engage with me as we work through all of the issues and the transition. Again, Shirley, thank you for your good work. Dennis, Michael, thank you for taking on with excitement these new roles. Good times are indeed ahead for Missouri State University West Plains. Shirley, I'll give you last comment.
Well, thank you, President Smart, for those kind words. We always love having you come to West Plains and join your team here. Again, as President Smart says, email him. He always responds. You see our email there on the screen, wpchancellor@missouriState.edu. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. Again, as we move forward through this summer online semester, we look forward to a fall semester that will be strong, and do not hesitate to let us know if you have any questions at all. And thank you. I think we had 107 participants today, and please don't hesitate to let us know if you have any questions. Thank you for joining us.